Hello and welcome to the last segment of our World Holiday Spectacular trip to Africa. In this final segment, we're going to do 3 more days in Cape Town as a post-cruise extension. And we're going to do it in and around the fascinating and fabulous Cape Town, South Africa area. We started by disembarking the Regent 7 Seas Voyager at about 8:45 in the morning to join our tour. We were met by our guide for the duration and a large motor coach that would stay with us for the next 3 days. As we explored Africa's captivating Cape, with our luggage stowed safely in the belly of the beast, we made our way not to a hotel, but to drive up Kloofnik to the saddle between Table Mountain and Lion's Head, our goal being the Lower Cableway Station. Upon arrival at Lower Table Mountain Road, we boarded a Swiss-engineered cable car and ascended from the 1,190-foot Valley Station to the 3,477-foot Mountain Station. The journey from the base to the summit takes just under 4 minutes and offers spectacular views as the floor of the car rotates 360 degrees during the ascent and descent, affording unobstructed views through an opening about every 60 seconds as the cable car rotates. At the summit, we found the natural protected area stretching from the Signal Hill to Cape Point as managed by the National Parks Board. The top of Table Mountain, although not as flat as a table as seen from below, is flat enough and easily walked as long as you stick to the trails. Once we confirmed the meetup location and time, we wandered off to explore the pathways atop Table Mountain. Much of the path hugged the rim of Table Mountain on 3 sides and offered spectacular views of Cape Town, the coast, and the mountains further inland. On top Table Mountain, there are restaurants, shopping, and, more importantly, bathrooms. We had about a full hour at the top of Table Mountain, and we took advantage of that by continuing our journey around the rim of Table Mountain. Are flat, well-defined, and concrete, although there are a few spots where you can wander off into the rocky landscape. And at every twist and turn, there were spectacular views to be had. This fellow seems to have found his spot and may be taking it all in or just contemplating his navel. I have a bit of fear of heights when there is nothing around me to grab onto, so this viewpoint was definitely not for me. And if you wanted to be really adventurous, there was always the mountain climbing adventure. And while it looked interesting, again, it was not for me. But that doesn't mean it wasn't for everyone, because we did see a few takers. Bye-bye and good luck. Well, soon enough, it was time to head back down the mountain. Again, thankfully by that Swiss cable car. And begin our journey back down the saddle between Table Mountain and Lion's Head toward our hotel. As we drove through Cape Town, we were given an orientation tour by our guide, and we were once again struck by just how clean and organized At least the areas in which we drove through appeared to be. Cape Town is the legislative center for Africa and the second largest city with a population of somewhere around 5 million. The real population numbers remain somewhat ambiguous because of undocumented migration. This is the Cape Town City Hall, and this is a life-size statue of Nelson Mandela located in the very spot where he made his first speech as a free man. After a bit more wandering around the streets of Cape Town, we made it to the area in which our hotel was located. Originally built in 1904 and then converted into a luxury hotel, in 1990 the Victoria and Alfred Hotel was to be our home for the next 3 days. We checked in to find a very spacious and well-appointed room with 2 comfortable beds and plenty of storage. Here's a quick look around. We found we had a great overlook of the small boat harbor just outside our window. After settling in a bit, we decided to go for a walkabout the vibrant and bustling harbor area. There was shopping galore, street entertainers, and restaurants beyond counting. The hotel is located in the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. Yes, that Victoria and Alfred of Victorian England fame. A shopping and entertainment district home to many restaurants, shops, and plenty of entertainment. There is literally something for everyone, including ferry and sunset catamaran cruises, the big wheel, an aquarium, and much, much more. Having had no lunch that day, and after coming off a cruise where we were eating basically every 12 minutes or so, we were a bit peckish. And so looking around for a likely eatery, we settled on an Asian fusion restaurant called Tang. Once seated, we were faced with a very intimidating menu of around 10 pages, featuring dishes from every corner of Asia. We eventually made our selections and were presented with a wonderful meal. We ended up with a mishmash of cultures from China, Japan, and Thailand. Started with a tasty tofu avocado salad, went to an angry duck from Thailand, fried lobster, scallop, and caviar shumai, had Japanese gyoza stuffed with Wagyu beef, finished up with a delicious tuna chili mayo tacos. Satiated, we continued our walk around the Victoria and Alfred Wharf and waterfront area, enjoying the scene's vibe and character. There was interesting art and architecture everywhere, like this bridge that resembled the prow of a Viking ship, a clock tower that resembled something from the Victorian age, and lots of public art like this penguin, or art for purchase. I wanted one of these bad boys for the front yard, but sadly was told no. We headed back towards the hotel to find that there was an interesting attached shopping mall that we wandered through before returning to our room and retiring for the evening. And the next morning, we were up bright and early for our second day and went to the hotel's restaurant for an interesting and hearty breakfast. The breakfast was included with our stay and turned out to be a great one. You were welcome to either graze at the buffet or order some included items from the menu. On the first day, we did find plenty of stuff on the buffet to keep us interested, and settled for a little bit of everything, with a cup of coffee. And about 8:30, we hopped on our bus and headed inland with a scenic drive past the seaside suburbs of Camps Bay, Clifton, and Llandudno. We eventually made our way to a scenic overlook of Hout Bay. Here, we paused for a few minutes to take in an overlook of the bay. Leaving our scenic overlook, we headed out for a drive around Chatmas Peak. While the brochure said we would drive over Chatmas Peak, that proved to be a misprint and impossible, and we drove the road, hugging the peak and carved right from the mountainside for a spectacular coastal view. Well, we had a goal, and that goal today was to visit some penguins in the Table Mountain National Park. Boulders Beach is located in the Cape Peninsula town of Simonstown, a small town filled with interesting architecture and access to Boulders Beach. Our bus dropped us off at a parking lot, which was at least half a mile from Boulders Beach. And so we hoofed it, passing vendors in Simonstown, along a residential shoreside drive, past Penguin Ice Cream, and eventually made it to the boulders in Table Mountain National Park. Our guide bought our tickets, and in we went for a view across False Bay, multiple warnings about touching or going near the penguins, they bite, and continued on our way through the dunes and park along a boardwalk. But wait, are those penguins? Oh no, they're just waterfowl of some sort. No, I think those are Cape cormorants. So on we pressed, until we actually started seeing some boulders. Feeling that was a clue we were near Boulders Beach, we made a turn, and there it was. We saw some activity off in the distance, and when closer, we saw our African penguins. The penguin colony at Boulder Beach started in the 80s with one breeding pair, and as you can now see, has several hundred. However, the penguins themselves are on the critically endangered list. This little guy decided to strut himself right under us. The penguins ranged from cute to sadly sort of ugly, looking like the guy in the back there, going through a catastrophic molting period. Also known as the black-footed penguin and the jackass penguin, the little guys can make quite a racket, sounding a lot like a jackass. As much as we enjoyed the penguins, it was time now to leave and go back to our bus for our next stop of the day. We made our way back the half mile or so to the bus, past flowers, seashore and swimmers, more birds, and spent 45 minutes at the bus waiting for a lost passenger. Eventually he was found, and we were back on the road once more, headed towards our next stop. And that next stop would be at Cruz Constantia, a winery in the region that specializes in fine wines. The Cruz Constantia wine estate was established in 1685, so they've been around for quite a while. It was a beautiful facility, and they have a motto that they adhere to, and that is growth, life, and beauty. First up was a lovely wine pairing where they paired 5 of their wines, a rosé, a white, and 3 reds, with chocolate. Now, while we both thought this was a great idea, it was for entirely different reasons. So, through the course of the 5 wines, each one a generous pour, I tasted half of my chocolate bar and gave the other half to her, and she tasted a little bit of her wine and poured the rest into my glass. This scheme worked out to both our satisfaction, and soon she was on a chocolate high, and I was pouring some of that glass into the much too much bucket on the table. After our wine tasting, it was time to walk outside and enjoy a few minutes exploring the wine estate. After wandering around a little bit, it was time for lunch. So our guide led us to the tables set up for our luncheon, and we proceeded to have one of the best meals that I've had on the trip thus far. Fresh bread and condiments, followed by entrees of a lamb curry dish and a Chilean sea bass dish, followed by a dessert that seemed to be a cross between cheesecake and pudding pie. And of course, with lunch, there was more wine. So after lunch, we wandered around a bit more, trying to burn off a little bit of that alcohol and calories, before returning to the bus and headed towards our next destination through rolling hills and endless vineyards to Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens. Acclaimed as one of the great botanical gardens of the world, few gardens can match the sheer grandeur of the setting of Kirstenbosch, nestling against the eastern slopes of Cape Town's Table Mountain. The gardens were established in 1913 to preserve the flora native to South Africa, and it is 528 hectares or 1,300 acres in size. It is one of the 10 national gardens focusing on the 5 natural biomes of South Africa. We took a leisurely but beautiful stroll through the beautiful gardens, admiring the diverse plant life on display. After about 30 minutes, we embarked on a walk in the Centenary tree canopy walkway, a curved steel and timber bridge that winds its way through and over the trees of the Arboretum. The walkway is said to be inspired by a snake skeleton, and it is informally called the boomslang, meaning a tree snake. It takes you from the forest floor into and through the trees, then bursts out above the canopy, giving spectacular panoramic vistas of the surrounding mountains, garden, and Cape Flats. Everywhere are interesting informational signs like the geology of Table Mountain. Give it a pause if you want to take a closer look. Otherwise, here are a few more of the beautiful views we saw that day. Apparently, this was an area where dinosaurs roamed at one time, while today is decidedly set up for human visitors. You could certainly make a full day of it here, with pathways splitting off in all sorts of directions, each leading to, well, who knows where. And after spending about an hour and a half roaming the park, we made it to the visitor center, where it was statues and bonsai trees on display for the visitors. Back on the bus and headed back towards the hotel, where still full from lunch, we eschewed dinner for just another walk around the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. Watching the dancers for a good bit, we continued our walk past statuary and the evening crowds. The waterfront used to be home to a prison where they'd stuck the prisoners in these tiny little doors, in cells hardly big enough to stand up in, and home to a fort guarding the harbor. After wandering around a bit more and enjoying the vibrant waterfront scene, it was time to make our way back to the hotel and get ready for the next day. Today was day 3 of our post-cruise extension. We were in for another full day of travel, wine, and food. We visited the buffet once more for peppadews and glazed gammon, a tasty joint of cured and glazed pork. And I opted today for a avocado toast, peppadews, and glazed gammon. Thus fortified, we were on our way to our first stop on our Winelands Discovery Tour. And the first stop today was at J.C. LaRue, beautiful vineyards and a winery set in the rolling hills of the wine country. We made it to the estate and the tasting room at about 10 o'clock in the morning. While normally a bit early in the morning for me, I just kept repeating the mantra, "It's happy hour somewhere in the world. Yes, it's happy hour somewhere in the world." J.C. LaRue is a beautiful facility set up with a very large central tasting room. About J.C. LaRue, pause here and check out the Q code displayed. J.C. LaRue specializes in sparkling wines, and we were offered a range of 5 different sparkling wines paired with 3 different sweet cheesecake-like dessert offerings. The sweetness of the desserts was a bit of an overload for both of us, and while the sparkling wines were good to great, they did little to cut the cloying sweetness of the desserts. The result was that most of the sweets were left untouched, while most of the wines simply disappeared. Next up, we made a short journey to our next stop, the town of Stellenbosch. Stellenbosch, established in 1649 by Dutch settlers, was an interesting small town full of interesting architecture, lots of shopping opportunities, dining and drinking spots catering to the now prevalent tourist trade. More yard art opportunities presented themselves, and I was once again told no. We were offered the opportunity to either use our remaining time shopping, no thank you, or have a visit to the Village Museum. Not being into shopping, we opted for the museum. The Stellenbosch Village Museum currently comprises of a small display and information and history area and 4 houses from different time periods of historical interest. Bonus points if you can tell me what this is. After perusing the small museum, we walked through the back garden and toured 4 of the restored homes. Each of these beautiful homes represents a different period in the architectural development of Stellenbosch. The houses, their interiors, and their gardens have been wonderfully restored, furnished, planted, and decorated to illustrate the particular style and taste of the time. Please enjoy this quick whirlwind tour of the interiors of these homes. Last up on our tour is this one, Shooter House from 1709. Following our tour of the homes, it was time to board our bus once more and head out for our last and final stop of the day. And that last stop would be the Muratai Wine Estate. It was another beautiful drive into the estate through rolling hills of vineyards and beautiful roadside plantings. Muratai itself is located on the steep slopes of the Simonsberg Mountain. The estate has a long and fascinating history, and we were regaled with stories from the origins of the estate to the current owners. We were treated not only to a sampling of their fine wines, but a sumptuous lunch as well. Located in the Norhoek Valley, north of Stellenbosch, Muratai dates back to 1685 when it was granted by Simon van der Stel, then governor of Cape Good Hope, to a German soldier, Lawrence Campier. Through the centuries, Muratai became one of the oldest wine estates in South Africa, had several other colorful owners, and is currently under the stewardship of the Mellick family, who are deeply rooted here. Their guiding philosophy is to preserve this rich history and cultural heritage and share it with wine lovers from around the world. Of course, We took a quick tour of just a small part of the property and were treated to a small glass of dessert wine in one of the many tasting rooms. Hospitality of Murritai, we were on the road once more, headed back toward the hotel. Passing through the lush landscape of Murritai, we were almost unprepared for what we saw next. On the way back to the hotel, we passed one of Cape Town's infamous shanty or shack towns, which stretched for miles on both sides of the highway. Our guide, to his credit, did not minimize the display of the poor living conditions. He instead explained it as a condition that started to develop during the transition of government after apartheid and only grew out of control as the government ignored the combined issues of displaced persons and a huge influx of refugees and illegal immigrants that swelled the population beyond control. The government is now trying to address those problems as humanely as possible, but still seems hopelessly overwhelmed. And while the current government seems to have good intentions, they aren't really fixing the problem. We returned to our hotel, did a short walkabout, and retired early to prepare for our return home the next morning. Well, the next morning, it was up and at 'em and on our way to the Cape Town International Airport. We were flying Emirates for the first time and made our way through the airport after clearing security toward the Emirates Lounge. In the lounge, we found one of the best experiences we have ever had in an airport lounge. The food looked good, although we pretty much left it alone because of our large breakfast that morning, and the service was extraordinarily gracious and attentive. Soon enough, it was time for our flight aboard a Boeing 777-300ER in sort of an old business class arrangement with narrow but comfortable seats for the first part of our journey to Dubai. Looking over the rather extensive in-flight menu, we started with a traditional Arab mezza plate. One of us had chicken, while the other had rice wrapped in grape leaves and an interesting curried shrimp with saffron rice. It was actually pretty good. We had only a 2-hour layover in Dubai and had no time to go to the lounge. However, when we got on the aircraft, which at this time was a 777-200LR or long range, we were treated to much better seating arrangements and an even more extensive menu. It was a beautiful takeoff from Dubai at 2 o'clock in the morning. This was going to be a direct overnight flight back home to Texas and would take us another almost 17 hours. Fortunately, the food and wine was good and the service was extraordinary. The flight attendants added a sort of turn-down service, adding sheets and mattress pads to the completely lay-down flat seats, and we tried to get a bit of shut-eye. 17 hours later, and we were home and in recovery mode. Well, that's it for our 4-day extension in Cape Town, but just a glimpse of what's coming up. It's tulip time as we take a river cruise aboard AMA Waterways from Amsterdam to Amsterdam, from the Netherlands to Belgium. 7 days of tulips and chocolate, so stay tuned for tulip time. Well, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be kept up to date with new videos as they drop. And while this might be the end of our World Holiday Spectacular, there's more in the pipeline, including tulip time on Ama Waterways in the Netherlands and Belgium, and Nice to Nice to Nice aboard the Silver Sea Silver Shadow. Thank you for watching. Check out one or more of our more than 100 videos now posted. And as always, safe and happy travels from T's Cruise and Travel Muse.